You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.
Chandler. I'm the owner of KCCC 930 AM and the host of Community Forum. And with me today is Hannah Ornelas. Hannah Ornelas is the program assistant at the Carlsbad Anti-Drug and Anti-Gang Coalition here in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Right? Welcome.
Yes.
How are you?
Thank you for having me.
Look, I'm glad.
I'm good.
Glad that you're here. We've had the coalition on before about a year ago, and I think Samantha Smith was on, and she was talking about, like, you guys had the stash trailer, I think. Is that what it's called? Right, yes. Where you hide drugs and try to have parents figure out where the teenagers and kids are hiding drugs and alcohol. Yeah. So I remember her telling me that, like, one of the things is they, like, a shampoo bottle, right?
Yes.
Like, they put alcohol in a shampoo bottle, and then you don't really check it, you know?
Yep.
And what have you had, like,
they did really good at hiding at, and I actually joined shortly after they did that. So I never actually got to see that. I'm actually excited to have that event next time, but they have told me, you know, sometimes I'll have like a pop-up truck or a designated room to do that, make a whole event for any of the youth get involved, and especially parents as well. Just to bring awareness, but it's a fun activity, and it does really bring awareness to how easily things can hide.
Right. I would think it'd be quite difficult. Like, what if they were hiding? Because we're going to assume that only adults are listening to our program right now. Right. So let's say that, they're hiding like 99 bananas in there or something. Right. Or one of those really flavorful, really like, colorful smelling type of alcohol. And you smell it and you think, oh, that's just a really wonderful shampoo smell. So there's a lot of challenges there. So I think that's real educational for a lot of parents. And even though younger kids may try to sneak drugs and alcohol, it's important that you catch them and stop them, right? Because it's probably pretty natural behavior as a teenager to go ahead and like want to try that stuff, I think,
Yes, be curious. Yeah, for sure.
So you mentioned that you just barely joined the coalition, I guess, after the stash trailer was kind of debuted and you haven't seen it yet. So kind of tell us your background a little bit and how you got involved with the coalition and why maybe you're so passionate about this.
So I actually just started last July. So a little over 10 months I've been with the coalition. And my friend Tiffany Shirley, who is one of the main coordinators here, she actually got me involved. And honestly, I have been passionate since day one, just learning all the ins and outs. Of course, when I first started, I was like, what is the coalition? So a lot of it had to be learning the background of it. What exactly that we do? What are we so passionate about? Starting in fall and spring is when I really got more involved with the programs that we do. One of the programs we do is through the middle school. So we work over at PR Leyva and also Alta Vista, and we do an all-stars curriculum. That's really like a life skills, teaching middle schoolers about life goals and just getting their mind on the right track. It helps them to make better decisions later in life, and maybe has a result of them not wanting to, maybe being involved in drug activity, gang activity, when their mind is already on the right track, thinking about their future, what kind of friends to have, what kind of reputation they want to have. And so going through that was when I learned more hands-on about what the coalition does, especially through our monthly meetings. We just started up a new community meeting the first Friday of every month. Okay. And it's now a new community impact council meeting.
All right.
And we have had a lot of success with that. We started, I think, last October, so it is still fairly new. And we've had different people in the community, whether that's a business or a nonprofit, host. And so the last one we had just last month was over at Simcoe. And so they just talked about their company, what it is that they do, and they always provide food. So we do have a good turnout. People show up. But yeah.
That's excellent. Awesome. So, Hannah, were you born and raised in Carlsbad? What's your history to Carlsbad?
I wasn't. So I was actually born in San Diego, California. Lived majority of my life in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I moved out to Carlsbad just a year and a half ago. But I had some experience with it before because this is actually where I met my husband. We met through our sister church that was in Oklahoma. Okay. He was in an internship, and that's how I was able to meet him. And then that's how I met everyone else in Carlsbad, New Mexico. was through him. And so we've done a few years of summer internships here. I would live here for a couple months, then go back home. And then, him and I got married, lived for a few years in Tulsa together, and decided to come back here and call this place home. So I've enjoyed it. Since moving out here, we're actually about to purchase a home.
All right.
And so it really feels good to call Carlsbad home now.
Well, congratulations on all of that. And similar to you, about a year and a half ago, my wife and I decided to make Carlsbad home from Albuquerque. So we're pretty new residents as well.
Cool.
One of the reasons I asked you that, because when we had Samantha on last time, being very new to the community and still somewhat new to the community like yourself, and as an adult, right? We're not teenagers, right? Necessarily. Right. So the idea is, as I had to ask Samantha, I was like, are there gangs in Carlsbad? Right? And are there drugs in Carlsbad?
We hear from reports from the police department here. Like, I personally have not seen that. But of course we hear about it from reports. Like, sadly, they'll even find it through like the high school or middle school. They had a couple cases, just in the fall where they had to assist a student who, had an accidental overdose from fentanyl. They had to use Narcan on him twice just to revive him and bring him back to life. He was over in the library when it happened. And so this was just not too long ago. Like I said, I think a few months ago. And what he was actually purchasing originally was what he thought was Percocet, but it was laced with fentanyl. And so, of course, everybody, well, not everybody, that's why we do what we do. We want to educate people that fentanyl is highly, highly potent. And just a little bit can go a long way. And so a lot of what we do to bring awareness to fentanyl is to make that known to not just youth, but adults need to know that too, and parents. Okay. And so that's what I've experienced a lot since being involved in the community and about drug use is, sadly, a lot of the stories and reports I've heard is that they're laced with things that people wasn't aware of. So it's pretty scary stuff.
So being a newer expert to Anti-Drug and Gang Coalition, but you're on the program where you're definitely an expert, why are we seeing more things laced with fentanyl versus just the standard narcotic that maybe they thought they were trying to get?
I think it's easier. Fentanyl can be pressed into so many things like certain pills, what can look like maybe a morphine tablet. When we did like the drug program came and did like an education on it, showing us different like pills that it can be laced with. Sorry, there's something back in the background.
That's okay. Hannah's here with us from a very busy office, so we're going to allow her office to be busy. I actually appreciate the background noise; it shows activity. Yeah. Don't worry, it's not too overwhelming. Just to lead to that, the next part of the question I was going to get to on the fentanyl is, fentanyl just appears to be a much cheaper substance for the illegal producers to kind of push through to the country, right? So they're saving a ton of money by doing this, and unfortunately, number one cause of death, right, is fentanyl overdoses for a certain age group.
Yes. Oh yeah. And the fentanyl, just like you mentioned, it's gotten much cheaper just over in the last 10 years. I'm not exactly sure how much of the price has gone down, but it's so much more affordable now. So more people are having access to it. And like you mentioned, more people are able to get their hands on it, maybe lace it with certain drugs, and people aren't aware. They may be purchasing, just like you said, like a different opioid they know of or a painkiller, not knowing that it's laced with fentanyl. And so we've seen that, how it's become so easily, widely spread. And we actually just had a fentanyl awareness day this week. It was on May 9th. And I just find that important because when I started here, not even a year ago, I had no idea. I've only learned so much in the last 10 months since starting this job. And when I first learned about fentanyl, the fentanyl use and how cheap it is and how much of it is already in our community, how many people already have their hands on it, it was shocking to me. And so the importance of that fentanyl awareness day is people need to be reminded again of that awareness, like what to look for, how it's hiding, what are the effects of it, what is the strength of it. I believe it's like fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine, 50 times more than heroin. So it's a pretty strong drug.
Right.
People need to know that. And it's pretty sad.
What are some of the things you guys did on May 9th on National Fentanyl Awareness Day. So it's a nationwide push now too, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody needs to be aware of it. So what are some of the things you put together to try to help bring awareness to it?
So a lot of what we do, especially recently, we just finished out at the schools, so we haven't had a lot of presentations on it, but we did do a lot of social media pushing, discussions about the fentanyl awareness, maybe making TikTok videos. We just created a TikTok page early this year. It's just Carlsbad Coalition, because I know millions of users are on that as well too. And so we want to find a way, how can we make an impact and a difference? And so we did that. We did our own meeting as an office together, going through just a reminder of that fentanyl awareness. They kind of have their own booklet or own course, that was provided to us. And so just some things that keep us educated and how we can further educate the community on it.
Okay. I heard you guys also had a mini golf teen night tournament, correct? On May 9th as part of the kind of the awareness day. I'm sure that was well attended. How did that go?
It was awesome. Teens in Action. So they were the ones that really hosted it along with us, but I just love what they did because 6th to 12th graders, they made it completely free. So they got to have some fun at the new mini golf course. There was food involved and we had a really great turnout. The whole point behind Teens in Action is they get to do kind of what we do. They're just the younger group. They're the youth. And we find that a lot of youth make a difference among their own generation. It's their age group that they can relate to. And if they're wanting to make a change in some way, then others may want to get involved and hear about what's going on. So that's what Teens in Action really is. And then they just wanted to host an event, and it didn't have to be just the people who are a part of Teens in Action. It was any 6th to 12th grader in Carlsbad that wanted to come and just have some fun. And a lot of that too, a lot of the fun events that we put on, majority of them are free for the youth. And it's also to keep them out of maybe bad behaviors and making bad decisions, and gives them more things to do in Carlsbad. Because I believe personally that there is a lot to do in Carlsbad. You just have to go out there and find it, and you have to be willing to go have fun.
That's true. Very, very good point. I appreciate that. I think there's a lot to do here as well. It seems like every weekend there's a ton of events happening.
Yeah.
We were talking about social media. I follow your guys' social media naturally. Very active, of course, as you said. But tell us a little bit about what the prom potty is, right? I thought I saw this toilet sitting around in front of businesses, and so I kind of know what it is because I did some research. But go ahead and tell me what you guys did.
Oh
for
my
that
gosh! So it was our first year doing the prom potty. I was very surprised at how successful it was, and people had fun, and it did make such a difference on social media. I think that's how word really got around. So the prom potty it's kind of like a little prank / fundraiser. We fundraised for the class act. And so class act is obviously coming up with graduation, right after graduation.
Go ahead and explain a little bit about class act. Not being a local person, I'm not very familiar with that myself.
Yes. So I just recently learned about class act as well, and learning about it. So what they've noticed from previous years before class act became a thing, was a lot of teens, after graduation, they're wanting to have some fun, probably go out and drink and do things that they shouldn't do. And we were noticing a lot of car accidents or deaths were happening that night.
Right.
And so that was due to underage drinking, misuse of alcohol, drinking while driving under the influence, or even drugs being involved as well too. And so class act was to keep majority of those teens from doing that, and to keep them in a safe place, but also a place that's fun. We don't want to be like, just be here and locked up. Like, no, we want to make it fun. We had a lot of food. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of ways to win money at class act too. Right. There's always incentives. There's prizes. They have like a specific room that's for like movie theater. They have a specific dance floor. If you just want to dance the whole time, they have some rooms for like casino playing, like all different kinds of games. And so I personally have volunteered at class act, so it's kind of like an outsider looking in, but it was fun to be involved and see all the kids truly having fun. All the high schoolers that graduated.
So class act is a graduation related type, right?
Yes.
So like, let's party all night in a safe environment and win a bunch of prizes and stuff like that. So
they'll go all night.
So the prom potty was to raise money for class act.
Yes, help provide for everything that class act is. And so prom potty we had 9 potties. 6 no, 6 or 7 of them were donated from Lowe's. So thank you to Lowe's for that. They were brand new toilets too.
All right.
And then a couple others from, a couple of our coworkers here had them. And so we painted them. We had a few of the Teens in Action members come out and we spray painted them. It was so much fun. Just made them look silly.
You spray painted brand new toilets
to make it look
right. You spray painted brand new toilets, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it was like, it's already kind of embarrassing enough to have a toilet in your yard. So we wanted to make it a thing, paint it up, and we put a sign on there, and each sign had what it was. We labeled it prom potty, but then we had a fact on each potty, something about underage drinking. It had to be about, drinking under the age of 21. And some of them would say, like, did you know providing alcohol to a minor is 4th-degree felony? Talk it up, lock it up. Maybe having a conversation with your teens can help prevent them from being involved in behaviors like that. And so each toilet had a fact. And what happened is if someone found a toilet on their yard, they'd call the number on there and be like, how do I get this thing off? Why is there a toilet on my yard? And they could pay $10 to just have it removed. Okay. And what that was removed by was a couple of the police officers from CPD. So you do want to thank CPD again for being involved with us. They helped out so much that entire week, moving potties for us twice a day. And then if the person wanted to remove it and prank someone else and put it on a friend's land, then they would pay, I think it was like $30 or $40. And then if someone wanted insurance to never have a potty put on their land, they paid $100. So of course, all that money went towards Class Act, and we raised just roughly over $2,000. All right. So it was good. We're really happy to provide for that.
Well, what a great first event. They were certainly visual all over town and social media.
Yeah.
And it seems like a tradition has been started. So I think that's awesome.
For sure. I agree.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you guys do a lot of great things for the community. So I think it's important that we talk about membership, right? You can become a member of the Carlsbad Coalition. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So membership is free. If you are wanting to sign up at all, you can go to our carlsbadcoalition.com website. And we always say to be a member, you can be involved from anywhere between 1 hour to 365 days a year. So we say 1 hour because a lot of our community board meetings that happen once a month are for an hour. First Wednesday of every month, we have it over at the City Hall building, same room that we've always had it. And we post about it, on our social medias just to remind people. But the point behind community board and community impact council meetings, anything that we do to have people involved, is if people want to make a difference in any way in their community, and what ways can they help out others. Something that we have noticed from both meetings is that, I can talk about, hey, we have this new program called Sources of Strength. We're promoting it through the middle school and high school, but we also want to promote it to businesses. And me just saying that it was brand new and talking about what it was, someone else there said, hey, we'd like to sponsor you guys and give you money to provide t-shirts. When you have a new program or new business, why not have some merch behind it? And some way to promote it and show it off to others. And so we have found so many ways that through our community meetings of being aware of what's going on in our community, how we can make a change and a difference, and honestly having people come together in a room and all be on the same level of let's make a positive change, we have seen a positive difference with. So community board, that happens once a month, like I mentioned, first Wednesday of every month. But then we also have a community impact council meeting. That happens every other month, the first Friday of the month. So we already had ours in April. Okay. So our next one is June. And we have a different person sponsor every time. So the next person that will actually be sponsoring our community impact council meeting is the college. Okay. And so they'll talk more about their college. How can people make a difference there, help out in any way? And then they provide food. So that this is open to anyone who is involved in a business here, a nonprofit, or a community member that just wants to be involved in the change. Okay.
Remind us of that date again. When is that again at the college?
So this one, we're still waiting. I believe it's going to be towards the end of June for this one, though. So we'll once we get that confirmed date, we'll have it posted up on our Facebook and our website so people can be aware.
Well, that's a good segue to go ahead and give your Facebook, give your website, maybe how you can volunteer, the best way to do those type of things.
Yep. Yep. So our Facebook page is just the Carlsbad Coalition. Well, actually, our Facebook page is still Carlsbad Community Anti-Drug and Gang Coalition. If they type in Carlsbad Coalition, it should still
Yeah,
pop up the full
I
name.
was going to say that's how I found it on Facebook this morning again when I was just doing some research before the segment. Is you do Carlsbad Coalition and it pops right up, even though the full name will pop up for you. But it's one of those it's one of those rare ones on Facebook that's easy to find, right? Because you know Facebook,
right?
Yeah.
All the other groups you have to type in the whole name, but thankfully ours.
Yeah, when you're trying to tag someone, you have to have like a whole nother Facebook window open so you can make sure to get their name right and stuff. Right? Yeah, so I'm glad we can all relate to Facebook on that, right? So yeah, but so Carlsbad Anti-Drug Community Anti-Drug Gang Coalition on Facebook. Go ahead and give us the website.
Yes, and the website is just carlsbadcoalition.com.
Okay, excellent. So go to carlsbadcoalition.com, follow the website. Southeast New Mexico College is going to host their next event in June. They'll have free food, which is always a great thing. I know you mentioned that a couple times because that is an enticer. We all know that, you know?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So that'll be great. So pay attention to that. We've got a little bit of time left, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Teen Court. Are you familiar, with your guys' Teen Court program and how people can help with that if they need?
You know what? I'm a little familiar with it. I know Sam Smith is actually one of the program managers in it, and so she would obviously tell more about it. But what I know so far about Teen Court is that basically how people could get involved or help out in any way is we're always looking for youth attorneys to be involved. So a lot of the people that are involved, we have a real court setting. Everything is legal. When the youth go through this system, let's say if you have a 16-year-old and, they're driving, they commit a traffic violation, run a red light, speeding, whatever it is, they get a ticket. Well, they may get a referral straight from the courthouse here or from their high school, maybe if it was on the high school parking lot or maybe if they got in a fight at the high school. Mm-hmm. And we get referrals from those places to go through Teen Court. And what Teen Court allows is for that student to, maybe if it's just one night at Teen Court, or maybe they have to go for a few nights to get something off their record. And depending on what the case was, they may have to be involved in some community work. It could be something involved as, maybe if someone had a traffic ticket and they needed just a couple hours of community work, they could volunteer for what we just had at the mini golf course, right? Hey, we need you to volunteer to help pass out drinks and water, or we need you to help out with Keep Carlsbad Beautiful. They're going to have a trash pickup day. And so we sign them up for those things, and we partner with other businesses in town to see, hey, how can we get teens to finish their hours so it can show on their record and they can get this violation off their record as well. So Teen Court is an amazing program. And if you are listening to this and you have a teenager that wants to get involved or maybe is interested in law in any way, Teen Court is the way to do it. And if you're wanting more information on how to actually get plugged in on that, just go to our website, Carlsbad Coalition, and we have all of our phone numbers on there too if you're just wanting to volunteer your teen. So it's a lot of fun, and they get to show that on their resume as well when they're applying for colleges or jobs. So it is a great route to go. All
right, great. That's carlsbadcoalition.com, Carlsbad Coalition on Facebook. That'll all get you to the same spot. Hannah, how do you want to close us out with any additional information? What did I miss? Nice closing statement. What do you go from there?
I will say this in closing. We do have some great events coming up this summer. Again, we'll be posted on our social medias for accurate dates, but we have been planning some special stuff for the 4th of July. We know that 4th of July is a very fun event here in Carlsbad, and I've heard that this year it's going to be kind of like a 4-day event. They're going to have concerts, they're going to have food downtown, and a lot of people involved, that's for sure. So we're going to have some of our own things there as well. So please stay posted as far as what we have coming up this summer. We may do a lot throughout the schools, fall and spring semester, but we do like to stay busy over the summer as well and how we can make a difference. So just follow our Facebook page, stay up to date, maybe become a member, and definitely join us next June, the first Wednesday of the month, so you can actually get involved in some way.
All right. First Wednesday of June from 4 to 5 p.m. at the City Hall Planning Room. Same room, second floor in the corner. I mean, anybody that goes there will remember it. All right. So great stuff happening at the Carlsbad Anti-Drug and Gang Coalition. Hannah Ornelas, Program Assistant. Obviously a really great new hire. So thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're listening to Community Forum on KCCC 930 AM, sponsored by Eddy County, honoring God, country, and family, thriving with industry since 1889.